A few years ago, I decided to quit. I quit my job as an employee and decided to pursue the self-employment path. It was definitely a risk, but it was the best decision I've ever made. Hello everyone, my name is Rooshocks, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my journey of going down the self-employment path, of walking through that door, finding the exit of the employee life and starting the business owner life. I've always had a burning passion for business, and it was something I wanted to pursue from a young age. I remember being at home, and I think I've told this story on the channel before, but selling or renting out DVDs to family members. This was just my idea of fun. I love the idea of self-employment. I love the idea of being able to make a profit from something, understanding how business worked, and being able to give back to others through running your own business. It was definitely something I enjoyed learning about from a young age, and this went with me as I got older. Obviously, this started as a bit of fun at home, but then once I was old enough, I started little side hustles. Once I hit adulthood, was like, what can I do on the side, not to make money, but to learn about business? And that was the key thing when I was younger. It was all about learning. It was about starting little businesses, learning how to set up a business, learning about bookkeeping, and learning about business in general. Customer relations, sourcing products, all those fun things that go into learning business, so that when I went to do it for myself on a bigger scale, I already had years of foundation behind me. And this is my first realization when it comes to finding the exit of the employee life is, do you have that passion for business? If you don't have that passion for business, it's going to make it very hard when times are tough as a business owner, because they definitely can get tough. And if you're not passionate about it, you probably will struggle, and maybe the employer life isn't suited to you. Maybe the employee life is better for you. But just loving business isn't enough to find the way out. Finding the way out is going to differ depending on what you're doing, what you're pursuing. So for instance, for me as an accountant, I couldn't just go start a business from day one. One, I didn't have any of the qualifications required. Two, I didn't have the experience required. And three, I just didn't know anything about that industry. There are other industries where you can start from scratch. For instance, if you want to be a YouTuber, you could go and start from scratch. You don't need to go work for someone else, but you're going to have to put a lot of hard hours in, and you're going to be doing it likely by yourself. That's the difference, and that was something I definitely enjoyed by being an employee, is getting to work with others, learning from lots of different people, how they approach different situations. They're not just technical situations. You can learn a lot from other people, how they approach conversations with clients, or maybe it's management, or maybe it's business finances. You can learn lots from all different types of people. I think that's one of the key things. If you know you want to start your own business, but you're currently working for someone, learn as much as you can, not just about your technical craft. Because to run a business, you need to know about every aspect of business. So go and speak to the HR person, go and speak to the people in accounts, go and speak to the receptionist, learn about their roles, learn about what makes their job important, what is the important aspects of doing their job, and how they do it well. By learning off all the people from the entire organization, you're starting to get the overall picture of how a business actually works from everyone's point of view, because that will come in key when you start your own business, especially if you start employing people. For some people, this is definitely the best way, learning off others. I understand for others, you're going to have the passion and the burning desire and the opportunity that the industry is right, where you don't need to do this, where you can go and learn everything yourself. But you're going to need to be disciplined in that case, because all of it is going to come back on you. You don't have anyone to teach you. You're going to have to go out and find people that you can look from afar. You might not get to work with them on a daily basis, but you might be able to organize a coffee for them, or just have that conversation via an Instagram DM to learn about how they run a successful business. I think anyone that's starting out definitely can learn from others. You want to experiment yourself, but you definitely want to learn from others that have already done it. Another way to help find that exit door is to make sure you're not taking on too much risk in your personal life. If you can keep your costs low, then it's going to reduce that barrier for entry when you do go and start your own business. If you know your annual expenses are $100,000 a year, that's already putting a lot of pressure on yourself to make that from your business from day one just to pay your bills. But if they're only half that or a quarter of that, you don't need to make nowhere near as much profit. Therefore, you can take that risk earlier, or you can take more risks in the early stages of business, because you're not needing to draw a huge personal wage. That's something I definitely did, is I tried to keep my personal costs low. I didn't want to take on ridiculously expensive car loans or these huge houses or any other kind of massive personal debt. By keeping all of that low, it meant I didn't need to make as much profit when I started my business, and therefore I could focus on growing the business slowly, but with a really solid foundation. The way out for me came when I really understood that I think I've learnt everything I can as an employee. I've got to the stage where you're never really going to know, is it the right time? But I got to the stage where I thought, there's never going to be a better time. And if there is, I'm not going to know because I'm making that decision now. I'm taking the risk now. I think that's the key. It's like anything in life. Is today the right time to do this? Or is a week's time? Or is a month's time? Or is a year time? You'll never know because you can only pick one of those options. So for me, it was like, okay, I've made that decision. I'm going to stick with that decision. And I've got to have the conviction that that is the right decision that I've made. And walking through that exit door was the best decision I did make. It has had its challenges, and I think that would be for anyone starting a business. If your business didn't have challenges, then it means you're not taking the right level of risks probably. But overall, it has been such a learning experience and a successful one as well. You know, I've been able to grow my business from zero up to a position where it pays me a good full-time wage. You know, that was the first major tick that I wanted to achieve was, hey, can I earn more from this business than what I did as an employee? And I know I've now ticked that box. It's also allowed me to have that flexibility, which has been an amazing thing to have, especially over the last 12 months. You know, we've welcomed our first child into our family, which has been great because I've been able to go to all the things that I wanted to with that. I've been able to pursue this passion of YouTube. I wouldn't have been able to do that as an employee. I wouldn't have had the flexibility of the time. But I can go and do a crazy challenge like I'm actually doing today. This is the 5th video I have recorded in 24 hours. It's been a marathon session. We're into hour 20 now, which is just insane. I couldn't have done that as an employee. Now, before we get into any further in the video, make sure you hit the subscribe because this has been tough work and I'm doing it for you guys to provide value to you. Anyway, let's get back into the video. So if you are really passionate about starting your own business but you're still an employee, these are my key things to get out of that door. Is 1, do you have the knowledge to run a business in that industry? You're not going to know everything, but do you know the basics? 2, is there anyone you're going to be able to learn from once you've started your own business? For instance, have you got a mentor or a friend that's running a business in a similar industry that you're going to be able to learn from? And 3, have you got the financial position to do it? Have you got enough backup savings or you've got really low cost of living so you don't need to have those profits too high? If you can take that stress away in the early stages of business, it'll make life a lot easier. I've actually been running a bit of a series here on YouTube about how an accountant would start a business from scratch. So I'm sure if you've been interested in this video, you'll find that playlist that's coming up next really helpful. I thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next one.